All right, what is going on, my dudes? So, this is a little high. Let's make that a little bit lower. That's a little very low. That's all right. This seems good. So, the new 6-star feature crystal just drops, and when the new crystal drops, we tend to make a video like this where we predict future buffs. Now, technically, the last crystal to drop was a 5-star. I think that's okay. I don't think that's gonna matter too much while predicting the next one, but interestingly enough, okay, something that I noticed is that there are 2 champs that I predicted aside from Purgatory, okay? 2 champs from the previous pool, from the 5-star that I predicted to get a buff, are present in the new one. And that is Thor, Rags, and Rogue. And as we know now, Ragnagod has received a buff. So far, we've gotten at least one of those predictions correct. I don't see any other similarities here. I don't see, Red Cyclops, Sentry, Mordo, Champion, Vision. But Vision, however, was just in a recent 6-star featured. Okay, so that's something, right? That's some sort of similarity there. So that was a connection between the old one for, maybe if he gets buffed, that could be a connection. But anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to get rid of the old one. I just wanted to show that 2 of the champions I predicted from the previous crystal are popping up in the new one, and one of those 2 champs got a buff right before this crystal went live, okay? So let's fix this all up. All right, so we have our image from MCOC Trucos here. Big shout out to those guys. Right behind my face, we have Penny Parker, who is not going to be receiving a buff, one of the best champs in this crystal, okay? So, first things first, man, let's go through and put these little squares over champions who we definitely don't think will be getting buffed. So, Hercules, not a chance, dude. Not a chance of this guy getting any sort of buff, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put them over the other new champions as well. That includes Purgatory and America Chavez. However, I just want to say I do believe these 2 champions could benefit very highly from a total rework. Might be a little extreme. It might be a little extreme, but they could use it. Now, Spidey 2099, I think is super duper underrated. I always thought he was. I'm very highly considering taking mine to rank 3 after pulling him. However, he could definitely benefit from a little bit of a value change. However, I don't see that happening, taking the spot of somebody else anytime soon, because he's actually in a pretty good spot right now when it comes to content like Alliance War, which is one reason why I'm really highly considering taking him up. He's actually very, very useful in Alliance War at the moment. So that being said, obviously, Torch is not going to be getting a buff, and Miles just got one, okay? Diablo just got an amazing buff. There's Guillotine, okay? Medusa most certainly does not need a buff. Venompool just got one. Gamora. And now we come over here to the right side. Now, on the right side, first things first, we have War Machine, who just got a buff. Pretty underrated, still flying under the radar. He's not a very common champion. He's only recently in the 6-star pool, and he's not in the 5-star basic pool, so I understand why that's going on, okay? Stark Spidey definitely could benefit from a bit of a value change to update him with the current meta of the game. However, when I'm looking at some of the other champions in this pool, there is no chance I'm going to leave him not covered. And down here is Penny, just for me, but you can't even see that. All right, we'll get back to Nebula later. She's staying there for now. Up next, we have some interesting ones, man. We have some interesting ones. So over here, looking at well, first of all, Ragnagod just got a great buff. Okay, so we're going to cover him up. Obviously, he's not getting another buff. Now we have all these champions over here. And they all have a case, man. They all have a case for a buff. They all do. I would say the champion with the least case for a buff here is probably Iceman. I do think Rogue is better than Iceman, but I also do think Rogue needs a few value changes in order to be super duper good, and she's a fan favorite character, so I can see that happening. Okay? At this point, though, we have some pretty awful champions on this list. Gwenpool is not one of them. I also don't think Gwenpool is going to be getting a buff anytime soon. If she were to get one, she could use a value buff at most. I want to cover her. I want to cover her and say she has no chance. But I'm thinking now. Gwenpool was just released in the 6-star feature for the first time a few months ago. There are a lot of skilled champions who could have been in this featured pool. There's no reason to put Gwenpool back in unless she might be getting a buff. We're going to leave it. So, over here we have 3 circles. Red, green, and yellow. Blue. Wow. Red, green, and blue. I don't remember what colors I used these for last time, but for red we're doing total rework. Champions who I think need a total rework, and I think it's freaking obvious who those champions are. First things first, man. This guy right here. Cyclops. Total rework. Daredevil. Total rework. And I think he needs it to be built around his evade mechanic. So that'll stay, I think, if he gets buffed, right? So yeah, but that's all he got going on. Amazing evade counter. Or he has an amazing evade. You know what I mean. You know how he works. Very old champion. Okay? Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, Karnak needs a total rework. I don't think so. I think that Karnak only needs a moderate buff. He has a lot of stuff in his kit. He basically has guaranteed crits. He shrugs off debuffs faster. He's resistant to poison, and he has a concussion on the special 3 and a true strike on the special 1. And a special 2 gets stronger the more the opponent's health goes down. So he has a lot of stuff in his kit. So I think a moderate, kind of like Kingpin got, Ragnagod got, champions like that. Like, I feel like he could, Ultron only got a moderate. That's all it takes sometimes. I feel like moderate buffs are usually the best, in my opinion. Moderate buffs and really good value buffs are the best, in my opinion. So, now we have the value bubble over here, okay? And I think there's a lot. I don't know if you guys can hear Snowball snoring. He is snoring so loud right now. Okay, so X23 can be very prime for a value buff. I've talked about Rogue getting a value buff very often in the past. This is the second featured crystal she's in a row. You can definitely see her getting it. And you know what, man? We're giving one to Gwenpool too, because her being in this featured again is very sketchy to me. And now we have Nebula. Nebula, I think, could benefit very highly from a bit of a moderate buff. I think she needs a little bit more than a value. She has super duper awesome shock damage. Yeah, cool. But, that's it. That's all she's got. So she definitely doesn't need, a value. You could make her charges go up faster. But I don't know. I think she needs a little bit more than that. I think I'm going to go ahead and put Iceman on the list, too. I don't think he's going to get one, but Iceman would be, my lowest, who I think would be, the highest chance to get a buff out of all these champions. I think Iceman would be the lowest on the list, right? Just because he has the triple immunity. He's just finally released into the 6-star pool. They held him off for so long for whatever reason, but his damage is definitely sorely lacking. I don't think they're going to be running to give him a buff, though. As for the rest, I could see the rest of them getting buffed for sure. Gwenpool wouldn't be my first choice because I think she's in a solid spot already. However, I'm just suspicious with her coming back into the 6-star pool. But Karnak, Daredevil, Cyclops, moderates and reworks for sure. Nebula could be a great moderate. And then X23 and Rogue could be awesome value buffs. So those are the main ones right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be my 6 main ones. And then these 2 tagged on for just, Iceman could use it and Gwenpool suspicious. So that's who I think from this featured pool, we could be seeing, getting a buff coming up soon. Number 1 choice, my number 1, who I think it would be, is probably going to be Rogue. Only because we've now seen her in 2 featured crystals in a row. And she was in a featured 6-star crystal, not too long ago. Right? I think not too long ago she was in one as well. So that's also suspicious. That's suspicious, guys. It's pretty sus. But that's it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about these choices in the comment section below. Do you agree? Who do you think out of these champions is going to get buffed first, if any of them? Let me know in the comments. Also, do you agree that the champions I said need an overhaul moderate in value? Do you think that's correct, or do you think some need more, some need less? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any other future videos just like this coming to you in the future. Be seeing you around.